What gives you hope about the future of this whole thing we have going on here, human civilization?
I find it easier to be optimistic than pessimistic because I don't know either way. So if I get to choose, why not just choose to believe it's going to pan out?
Yeah.
Like, we suffer more in our imagination than we do in reality. That's one of the quotes out of Stoicism. And I also think we have a tendency, a lot of humans have a tendency, to be pessimistic in advance for things they don't know how it's going to pan out. Climate change, for example, is making a lot of people very anxious and very pessimistic about the future. You know nothing. 40 years ago, we thought the problem was that the planet was going to be too cool. I happen to believe that it's probably correct that the planet is getting too hot and that CO2 has something to do with it. Whether we have the right measures to fix it in time, if that's even possible or not, is completely up in the air, and we don't know. If you convince yourself with such certainty that the world is going to turn to shit, it is right up here in your head today. Climate change might wipe out this entire species in 200 years. It's not next year. It's not 10 years from now. Your life might become more unpleasant and there might be more negative effects and so on. Yes, okay. But then deal with that hardship when it arrives. Don't take that in advance. How are you helping Earth by just walking around being depressed?
I think our whole conversation today is also an indication it's just two humans talking. There's billions of us. And there is something about us that wants to solve problems and build cool stuff.
Yes.
And so we're going to build our way out of whatever shit we get ourselves into. This is what humans do. We create problems for ourselves and come up, figure out how to build rocket ships to get out of those problems. And sometimes the rocket ships create other problems like nuclear warheads, and then we'll, I'm sure, I hope, figure out ways how to avoid those problems. And then there'll be nanobots, and then the aliens will come, and it'll be a massive war between the nanobots and the aliens, and that will bring also all of us humans together.
The funny thing, just to pick up one of the points you mentioned, the atom bomb, for example. When that was first invented, a lot of people thought we have essentially ended life on Earth, right? Yeah. Or maybe we prevented World War III from happening in the past 80 years because assured mutual annihilation kept the superpowers from attacking each other, at least head on, and kept their fighting to proxy wars. You know what? Proxy wars are not great, but they're probably better than World War III with nuclear weapons. So it's quite difficult in the moment to tell what's actually benefit and what's not. And I think we should be a bit more humble. I've certainly become more humble over time of thinking I know which way it's going to turn. I think the pandemic was a huge moment for a lot of people where there was so much certainty about whether this intervention worked or that intervention didn't work. And most people were wrong. Certainly a lot of very smart people, very qualified people got that just utterly and catastrophizingly wrong. So just a little intellectual humility. I think back upon that and go like, you know what? I'm not a PhD in virology. And I don't claim that like I somehow saw how it all was going to play out. But the people who were really experts in it, they got a bunch of it wrong. Nobody knows anything. I keep reminding myself of that every day. No one knows anything. We can't predict the economy a month out. We can't predict world affairs a month out. The world is just too complicated.
Yeah, when I watched the Netflix documentary Chimp Empire and how, there's a hierarchy of chimps, all of that looks eerily similar to us humans. We're recent descendants. So these experts, some of the chimps got a PhD, others don't. Others are really muscular. Others are like beta male kind. They're sucking up to the alpha. There's a lot of interesting dynamics going on that really maps cleanly to the geopolitics of the day. They don't have nuclear weapons, but the nature of their behavior is similar to ours. So I think we barely know what's going on. But I do think there's like a basic will to cooperate. There's a basic compassion that underlies just the human spirit. that's there. And maybe that is just me being optimistic. But if that is indeed there, I think we're going to be okay.
The capacity is certainly there.
Yeah.
Whether we choose that capacity or not, who knows and in what situation. I think accepting that we all have the capacity for both ways, for both incredible generosity and kindness and also cruelty. I think Jung, with his whole theory of the shadow, was really spot on, that we all have that capacity in us, and accepting that it's our job to attempt to cultivate the better parts of our human nature is weighed against our propensity to sometimes be the worst of ourselves.
I'm excited to find out what's going to happen. It's so awesome to be human. I don't want to die. I kind of want to be alive for a while to see all the cool shit we do. And one of the cool things I want to see is all the software you create and all the things you tweet, all the trouble you get yourself into on Twitter. David, yeah, I'm a huge fan. Like I said, thank you for everything you've done for the world, for the millions of developers you've inspired, and one of whom is me. And thank you for this awesome conversation, brother.
Thanks so much for having me.